Tonight, Portland Police Chief Chuck Lavelle is addressing the use of force by officers at nightly demonstrations, saying videos on social media can look disturbing and that they raise legitimate concerns. For example, this video from Monday night is under investigation. It shows an officer tackling and repeatedly punching a protester after that person rips their helmet off. Recently, our crews on the ground have noticed more aggression in the crowd and from police. Tonight, Fox 12's Audrey WEIL spoke to a psychology professor about the dynamics at play every night and gives us some insight.
It was really fascinating to hear a psychological perspective of what factors play into protests, riots, and officer response, like how someone with good intentions could end up committing a criminal act during a riot, and how for some, these demonstrations might offer a social outlet that they can't get otherwise because of the pandemic. Like it or not, we all act differently in a group than by ourselves. Nightly demonstrations are no exception.
Certainly with the size of the group in this situation, you see people doing things that they wouldn't do on their own.
Dr. DEANA JULKA specializes in social psychology, and she says groups create interesting dynamics. They can diffuse each person's sense of responsibility, increase physiological arousal, and lead to impulsive self-gratification. She says even watching members of a group do something destructive can normalize it.
The more people you see, or if it becomes normalized to be breaking windows or throwing fire, if that is something that's happening every day, it's quite likely you will see an escalation.
And what about the officers? Portland Police Chief Chuck Lavelle tweeted Wednesday about videos of officer use of force that he says can look disturbing and raise legitimate concerns. He says some officers have been removed from crowd control. Others who've been assaulted or injured are asked to go back out and endure more, saying, quote, "We are not perfect. We make mistakes and hold ourselves accountable."
Could there be some built-up frustration or things like that that start to play out at this point?
I can't see how there wouldn't be built-up frustration. It's an incredibly difficult job. At its best.
And with officers and demonstrators at odds nightly, Dr. JULKA says it's natural for each to start identifying as a group.
Particularly if you have a perceived threat, we identify even more strongly with our groups.
And she says tend to not see the other side as distinct individuals or even fully human. With all of these factors in mind, I asked Dr. JULKA how we can overcome divide. She says that it's important to see everyone as individuals and approach situations with kindness. She says one of the things we can all start by doing is talking to loved ones who have different points of view than us, and then from there we can widen those conversations to a larger circle. Audrey WEIL, Fox 12 Oregon.